Alright, first off, let me start with a quick disclaimer. I'm unable to put this into slideshow mode without my little recording thing I'm using turning off, so bear with me as it's going to be a bit it's not going to be as easily presentable. On to the show. Hello, and welcome to today's episode of Gavin's Psychological Knowledge. Today, I will be going over the topic of sleep. For the first bit of today's topic, why exactly do we need sleep? Well, there are actually quite a few reasons. There are actually quite a few reasons one may want to sleep. One such reason is recuperation. You got to give yourself some time to rest. When you sleep, your brain will go through a process of cleaning up toxins, it can do some neural rewiring, and it can boost your immune system, as well as repair your DNA. There isn't just recuperation though. Your brain also has to have some time to properly process memories and file them away. Sleeping is great for this, as it gives your brain some potentially needed time to properly encode memories. Also, when you sleep, your growth can improve, specifically through the human growth hormone, and just general muscle development, which I forgot to advance the slide, my bad. And then, for one extra benefit that comes from sleeping, that doesn't happen when you sleep, is due to being well rested, your sleeping and your problem solving and creativity skill will generally be better. But this begs the question, what about the inverse? What happens if we don't get enough sleep? Well, if we don't get enough sleep, then we can end up having some problems with memory regarding our learning. Our immune system can become weakened, we become more irritable, we could potentially gain weight, and probably most vital, by not getting enough sleep, we limit our ability to restore both our brain and body. So, what happens while I'm sleeping then? Well, put simply, we go through 4 separate phases of sleep. The first one, represented by this top left image, is known as non-REM. Stage 1. Its main purpose is to be the transitional period between being awake and being asleep. Under normal circumstances, this phase will typically last between 5 to 15 minutes. The next phase of our sleep cycle is non-REM, stage 2. This is coupled with us getting colder, our heart rate slowing, and the production of brain spindles, which are a special kind of brain wave that look like this. Or not brain spindles, sleep spindles, sorry for my mistake. This phase of sleep lasts about 20 minutes after the phase we reach NREM stage 3, which is where we enter a deep sleep. During this stage, our muscles relax, and our blood pressure and breathing rate drop. It is also particularly important due to it releasing the human growth hormone, and working on repairing our body and brain where needed. Likewise, it boosts our immune system, which is likely why a large amount of rest while sick is quite a good thing. Finally, I forgot to advance the slide yet again, my bad. Finally, our last stage is REM sleep, which is where our eyes start to rapidly dart around behind our eyelids as we become immobilized and our brain activity starts to increase. It is during this phase of sleep that we end up dreaming. 2 quick fun facts. The phases of sleep are dictated by if you're in the rapid eye movement state or not. This is where the name REM comes from, of rapid eye movement, and also where the name of non-REM of you just simply don't have rapid eye movement going on. The second fun fact is we become immobilized during REM to prevent ourselves from physically acting on our dreams. Just thought it was interesting. Now, how about we talk about the sleep cycle just a bit more though? A few simple facts is that each cycle lasts about 90 minutes. However, how long you spend in each phase can vary for particularly the non-REM stage 3 and the REM sleep phase. The reason for this is earlier in the night we have longer phases of deep sleeping than later on in the night. Which means in order to hit that 90-minute benchmark, the less sleep we have, the less deep sleep is occurring, the more time we have for REM sleep, which means we can dream all the longer. In order to get the most out of sleeping though, it is heavily recommended that you keep a consistent sleep schedule, and that you get a minimum of 6 hours of sleep each night. The ideal amount of sleep, though, should be 9 hours, if you can manage it. Anything less than 6, though, and I may need to refer you back to the consequences of sleep loss. 2 more things to cover. First off, what makes us feel tired versus making us feel awake? Well, that would be the funny old sleep chemicals. Adenosine is our first one that we can place on the right side of this image, because it is a sleep chemical. It makes you feel more tired throughout the day. However, if you're an avid coffee drinker, then the reason you feel less tired is due to suppressing adenosine with caffeine. After adenosine, we have melatonin, our second sleep chemical, which makes you feel more tired depending on how much of it is affecting you at that point in time. It has a contrast, though, to cortisol, which is a sort of alertness chemical that makes you feel more awake and alert as you have more affecting you. Melatonin and cortisol have a sort of fluctuating balance to help us be able to fall asleep, sort of yin and yang kind of represented in this image. This balance is dictated by the hypothalamus, which controls our circadian rhythm. Our circadian rhythm is formed out of habit, though. If you can't keep a good schedule up for sleeping, then you may have trouble falling asleep when you need to, or you may feel tired when you need to be wide awake. In this image, we have someone with probably a lot more normal of a circadian rhythm. Their cortisol rises earlier on in the day and then decreases as they get closer to night, and then during the night, their melatonin spikes so that they can fall asleep. And then when it's time to wake up, their cortisol rises, and sooner or later, they'll wake up. I, however, have a toxic relationship with my own circadian rhythm, which means I will be up till 4 a.m. wide awake, and during the day I'll have a couple times that I will feel tired. I'm thankful for having a massive amount of energy to dispose of. That being said, though, that is a story for another time, as we are out of time. I would like to bid you all a good night. May you sleep well, and don't let the bed bugs bite.